Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Badash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, teaching His word in truth and sincerity. I'm back with another lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. And this lesson is going to be on the chariots, right? What are the chariots? And what is their role in the last days? Right, because you got people who don't even believe in the chariots, right? Christianity doesn't teach about the chariots of the Most High. So we're going to go into this, and Lord willingly, this lesson's edifying. And it's Salakia, if you guys hear these man-made chariots, right, overhead of me, because, I believe there's a base somewhere nearby, so you're going to hear these chariots, these earthly, chariots over me. But let's get into the lesson, right? So what are the chariots? The chariots are the vehicles of the Lord, right? They're described as different things in the scriptures. You got clouds, you got a wheel within a wheel, a whirlwind, horses, right? It's described as many different things. But today, in the world we live in now, the chariots are called UFOs, or unidentified flying objects, right? And they're described as vehicles that don't that defy the laws of gravity, or they don't go according to the aerodynamics that we see today with airplanes and things like that. And also, they're associated with aliens, right? So green beings that are from a different planet, which we know that's false, right? So we know that those are the vehicles of the Most High, and angels, they are in those vehicles, right? So these angels, they ride in these vehicles, and they patrol the earth, right? So let's go to Exodus 13 and 21. This is Exodus 13 and 21. It says, "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of the fire by night from before the people." So Israel was being led out of the Egyptian captivity with a chariot, right? The Lord uses a chariot to guide them out of the land of captivity, which was Egypt. And the chariots are going to be used in this day to take the children of Israel out of this captivity, right? So that the chariots were a prominent figure in our salvation, even when you look at the ancient times, right? So it was it was described as being a cloud by day and a fire by night, right? So in the daytime, it was described as a cloud, and at nighttime, it lit up as a fire, right? Liken it to a fire by night, so that children of Israel can see and follow that cloud out of the wilderness, right? Or to Israel, to the land that was supposed to be flowing with milk and honey, right? And we know that generation didn't get there, but the next generation did, through Joshua. Right, so just giving you a backstory of the chariots. So now let's go to, it's a lot of scriptures we can go to. Let's go to Psalms 104 and 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chamber in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariots? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind? Right, it says, who layeth the beams of his chamber in the waters, right? Going into the Most High's dwelling place, right? The Most High dwells, his abode is in the spiritual realm, right? But he says, who maketh the clouds his chariots, right? So you'll see a cloud in the air, but it might not be a cloud. It might be a chariot, right? It might be a chariot that's, patrolling the earth. The chariots, they can stand in one spot. Like when you look at aerodynamics, an airplane cannot stay in one spot. without any motion or movement. It has to have some type of motion or movement. And a chariot, or what you see a UFO, it can sit in one place and just sit there. Just like a cloud, it sits there in the sky. Well, now we know clouds do move, right? But when you look at a cloud, it seemingly is standing still, right? So that's the same characteristic that a chariot has, right? But also chariots can speed. They can speed to a level that airplanes can't. So they can go so fast that you can't even keep up with it. And they also can go in and out of the different dimensions. They can rematerialize, right? You see a chariot, and then next thing you know, it's like 5 chariots out of nowhere, right? So these vehicles are spiritual vehicles, right? Spiritual vehicles of the heavens, right? They're not earthly vehicles like these vehicles that we see in the sky, that is made by humans, right? Those vehicles can be destroyed. These vehicles, the vehicles of the Most High, can't be destroyed, right? So anytime a person said, "Oh, we seen a UFO and they got shot down," that's not a real UFO. That's not a real chariot, you know. So who lived the beings in his chambers, and this is going into the glory and majesty of Yahweh Bashim El Shai, right? Right. His abode is not on this earth, right? It's in the heavens, right? And it says, "Who make up the clouds, his chariots, who walk up upon the wings of the wind," right? So the Most High Yahweh Bashim El Shai, and he is in control of the air, right? He's control of the air. You got these Edomites who tell you if you get within a certain perimeter of this airspace, we'll shoot you down. But Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, he's the one that controls the airspace. He is the one who rules the air, man, not you. But the Lord gave Esau Edom a temporal dominion over the earth. This is Psalms 68 and 17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels, right? So the angels are controlling these chariots. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place, right? So we're correlating the angels with the chariots, right? Showing you that the angels are in these chariots, and these chariots are described as clouds, right? Wheel within a wheel when you go into Ezekiel, whirlwinds, horses, right? When you read Revelations, right? So they describe as many different things. The Bible uses figurative language, and they use things that are on the earth, and they liken them to a chariot, like a cloud, or even a chariot, right? Or a chariot, right? When you look at a chariot is used to travel. In the ancient days, you had a horse and you had the chariot on the back of it, and the horse pretty much carried the chariot, and it brings it's a vehicle of transportation. Simply putting it. All right, just to make it simple, right? So let's go into, let's see. All right, so we know that these vehicles were used to help guide Israel out of the land of Egypt, but it's also going to be used to destroy this kingdom, Babylon the Great, and used to deliver the elect, right? So it's Isaiah 66 and 15. It says, "For behold, the Lord come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire." Right? It says the Lord is coming with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, right? So the chariots are going to be used in this invasion of the earth, right? They're going to be front and center in invading this first earth age, right? Which is ruled by Esau Edom. Let me read a little more than that. It says, for fire and by sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many, right? So these chariots are going to be used to slay people. Right? When we look at, what's that movie called? I think it's War of the Worlds, and they show like their interpretation of these chariots, and these chariots, they shot out concentrated beams of fire that turn people to powder, right? So that's how these chariots are going to be used in the last days, man. going against the armies of the world, right? Because the armies of the world are going to try to fight against Yahweh Shai, and that spoke about in Revelation the 12th chapter, right? It says the archangel Michael. It says, actually, let me just get it real quick because I don't want to screw up the wording, but to show you that these chariots are going to be in full effect in the last days, but they will be going against the armies of the earth. All right, so this is Revelation 12. It might be like, let's see. Okay, Revelation 12:7, it said, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. All right, so that's showing you that's the war in heaven. When it says dragon, it's talking about the revised Roman Empire in the last days, which is America, right? And fought and his angels, which is his fleet of ships, right? His fleet of aircraft, spaceships, the space force that they have, right? This is what's going to fight against the actual real chariots and the archangel Michael. So it's going to be a war in heaven, but it's not talking about demons versus angels. It's talking about the demons on the earth, you know, the devil of the Bible, which is Esau, Edom, and his armies, right? So let's get back to where we was at. Like I said, this is like a basic topic to understand when it comes to the ministry. You know, knowing the chariots. You know, because it's important. They're going to be delivering Israel from the captivity, right? The elect, right? So it's important to know that. All right, these are the mysteries that were going to be revealed in the last days, right? It says the things that were hidden shall be revealed, right? In Luke, I believe the 8th chapter, right? Luke 12, it's talking about a lot of secret things being made manifest and made known in the last days, and you got Esau, Edom being revealed, and who that is, which is the so-called European man, the son of perdition. You got the chariots being revealed. You got mystery Babylon being revealed and understood what kingdom that is on earth today, which is America, right? So a lot of these things are being made known in the last days, and it's because the true prophets are on the highways and byways, right? The scriptures say, the Lord revealeth the secrets to the servants, the prophets. Right, so the prophets are actually out in the highways and byways, and that's why all these secrets that were once sealed are now being made known. Right, you got the Christian pastors when they were in control of the Bible. These mysteries were still locked up, man. They didn't talk about none of this stuff, and because they didn't have a spirit on them. They were not true prophets of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Right, they were prophets of the earth, of so-called. I wouldn't even say prophets. I would say they were being taught the doctrine of the so-called white man. Right? We call it plantation Christianity, and that was taught to the so-called Israelite man. And you know, without the spirit, he wouldn't be able to have discernment of what was true and what was not. You know. So let's go. It says, behold. Revelation 1:7 says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. And behold, he cometh with clouds, right? He's coming with those chariots. He's coming with those angels, even thousands of angels, right? So he's going to come, he's going to invade the earth, right? That's why it says, every eye shall see him, because there will be a big mountain-sized chariot, but it's going to be other chariots there also, even thousands of them, and they're going to invade America, Babylon the Great. They're going to take down the rulership of all these different kingdoms on the earth, and that will be the start of the reign of a perpetual kingdom that will never fall, which is the kingdom of heaven, right? This is Psalms 68:17. It says, the chariots of God are 20,000, which is what I was just quoting. Even thousands of angels, the Lord is among them as in the Mount Sinai. Right, to bring that up. Let's go to Zechariah 5:1. describing a chariot is a flying roll. This is Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So it's showing you that these chariots are going to enter into the house of the thief. Right? And it's the next verse. I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by name, and it shall remain in the midst of the house of his house, and shall consume it with timber thereof and the stones thereof. Right? So going into Esau Edom, right? And back in the second chapter, it says, woe unto him that increases which is not his. Right? That's a proverb that's on Edom, because he steals lands, he steals identities, he takes whatever he wants. But this curse, which is the chariots, are going to enter into the house of the thief, and it's going to burn this structure down, man. Right? Along with the ICBM missiles. Right? So the Lord has a whole plan on taking Esau Edom down. Right? He has the chariots, man. He has the nations, right? And we know that the Lord, he gets into the minds of these nations to go to war. Right? Because it says in Proverbs 21. Let me just grab it real quick. Proverbs 21:1. This is Proverbs 21:1. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right? So the Lord has the king's mind in his hands, and he's gonna get on these kings, in the minds of these kings, and he's gonna put it in their minds to go to World War III, to go against Babylon, to take down the whore. Right? That's what's gonna happen in the last days. Right? So let's see what didn't I read? This is Isaiah 16:8. Who are these that fly as a cloud, as the doves to their windows? Right? So just another scripture going into the chariots of the Most High. Right? So it is more scriptures, you know. You can go into Yahweh Shai, he's being taken by a cloud, right? They'll call that alien abduction in this time. Elijah was taken by a cloud. Right? So we see different instances in the scriptures where the chariots are being used or seen by the ancient men of the Lord. Right? You got shows called Ancient Alien, and they understand that, you know, these vehicles that are being mentioned seem closely in relation to the UFOs, but you know, of course, their understanding is obscured, and they still think that those UFOs are aliens coming from a different planet. They don't understand the spiritual aspect of the UFOs, right? So, at the end of the day, these mysteries were only given to the servants, the prophets, or the secrets were only given to the servants, the prophets. So, you know, with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKakodash. Until next time, Lord willingly, Shalom.